if you're going to, when you do these plans with your recruiters, how do I maintain accountability, and how do I maintain and create momentum with people on my team? All the things I've studied in recruiting, there's not a lot on how to effectively coach your own team members. So from a standpoint of the easiest thing when you, especially with metrics, is, let me go back to this, right? So what I would do with my recruiters, I went through a lot of, coaching and, my mental game of recruiting and my mental approach to the business. One of the things I learned that I knew was I'm not a very confrontive person, or I wasn't. I'm still uncomfortable with it, but I'm comfortable being uncomfortable with it. It's probably the best way to put it. What happened early in my career is because when I wouldn't hold people accountable, and when I wouldn't hold them accountable, and I'd let them kind of drift, billings were mediocre, I wasn't calling them out on it. I hired a lot of actually decently talented people who tremendously underperformed based on my leadership. It's probably the best way to put it, being totally owning that, right? So what happened was, when I got clear on that, I said, well, I'm going to stop pushing people. I'm going to start pulling people, right? So I would sit down with somebody. This is what I advise that you all do with your recruiters, is you can use this form. You have it in your workbook, and especially this time of year, and go, Mr. Ms. Recruiter, what are your financial goals for next year? So 300,000 in production in my office was about $100,000 in earnings. So let's just say somebody wanted to earn $100,000, right? So here's the formula that they would need to execute to make 100 grand. They'd have to bill about 300. It might be closer to 110, but just for argument's sake. And I would say, okay, what I want you to do, Mr. Ms. Recruiter, is sidebar, a lot of these people, that would be a significant bump from their previous year's earnings, especially if they were with me between, say, year 1 and 2. And I said, I want you to go home, and I want you to go to TurboTax, and I want you to put $100,000 into TurboTax in the free tax calculator and figure out how much in taxes you're going to pay, because some people had mortgages, some people had rents, there's kind of deductions. I wanted to get this micro specific. So I would say, okay, if you're going to make 100,000, let's say they did the work and they said they're going to be able to keep 75,000 of that after taxes. And I'd say, okay, well, how much is your average bills per month? And they might say they're $3,500. Okay, that's $40,000. All right, so you need $40,000 to take care of the household. And you're going to keep 70 after taxes. That means there's $30,000 in disposable income that you have a lot of choice over. And let's even say you miscalculated your bills a little bit. Let's say you need $45,000 for the hidden bill that comes in, the brake job for $1,000 you weren't anticipating, all that stuff. So now you have $25,000 in disposable after-tax income. What are you doing with it? If they don't know, they won't put in the effort to be uncomfortable to make it. I need every one of those $25,000 allocated. I don't mean spent, because $10,000 could be, I want $10,000 to put away for a new house. Because if I put $10,000 away this year and $15,000, I'll have the down payment with my existing home or with my existing savings. All right, I want $5,000 for credit card reduction, debt reduction or elimination. I want $5,000 for a down payment on a car. I want $10,000 for, an exotic cruise vacation. I don't care what it was. I want to know exactly, you've all heard me use this term all week, exactly, specifically, and precisely, after they paid their bills, based on what their goals were, where every dollar was going. And I would sit down with them one-on-one, and I would want to know why that was important to them. Because I don't want to hear just a nice trip for $5,000. I want to know, okay, if it is a nice trip, where would you go? What type of resort would you stay at? Or what type of experience would it be? And I want, because you heard, this is how this all integrates. This whole week integrates. We're only able to scratch the surface with you guys and gals. I want images around if they want a new house. I want what the images of that new home are. Is it contemporary? Is it colonial? Is it American craftsman style? How many square feet is it? Is it overlooking a mountain? Is it overlooking the water? Is it in a subdevelopment? I don't care, but I want them to have those images. Why? The brain doesn't know the difference between the real and the imagined, as we talked about on Tuesday. And when the brain forms images around it, the brain actually thinks it's automatically already achieved the experience, right? So all these things come into play with their ability to follow through and execute on it. And when I have them tell me the stories about all the things they want to make happen in their lives, I become an invested partner with them in that. Because if they're going to build 300,000 or make 100, I've got some overhead, I've got some profit in there. Typical profit on a recruiter, if it's on your desk, is probably 70%. If it's on someone else's desk, or just a full cycle recruiter, is probably closer to 40%. Anyway, I'm partnered up with them. This is what I'm talking about, coaching your people. When you get down to this level with this person, we know they need 35 recruit presentations and 15 marketing presentations per week. 35 plus 15 is 50. Divide that by 5. That's 10 a day. So I'm going to ask real quick. I just put in chat real quick. If we coach this person up, we get them to do all the things I just said. Let's assume these are their numbers. When will we know? When will we know? I want you to put it in chat if they're off target. Type it in chat. Quick test. Roy, tip of the cap. First day. First day. Not 2 days. First day. It's the day they should be most motivated too, right? Like they just did all this. So they come in, 14 is the same as 0, just like you say, right? So one day they come in, right? Let's say, this is how blunt I would be with people. So you come in, I'll use Roy since he's my star student for the day. And he comes in, his goal was 7 recruit presentations, 3 marketing presentations. He comes in with 6 and 2. And I might, because I'll walk over him, I'm like, how'd you do today? Like, because I don't usually take numbers every day with tenured people. I got 6 and 2. So you're 20% off. So we got to take that 300,000, take off 20%, 20, 40, 60. So you're going to build 240, and you're going to lose 35%. You're down like 10, you're down like $15,000, $20,000 in your earnings. Mike, how can you say that? It's only the first day, is the response. You will hear that all the time, right? It's no, as it starts, so it goes. You are now trending 80%. If I didn't catch this, my gut feeling is this would slip a little bit more tomorrow. You told me you were serious about this. What do we have to do? What got in the way today from you hitting one more recruit presentation, one more marketing presentation? What can I do to help? When I always say, what can I do to help? 99% of the time they say something like, I need the focus to do it. And for the most part, people in my office hit or exceeded their goals because they had an emotional connection to the daily numbers, because metrics were religion in my office. Metrics were religion in our office. That's why when I would go away on vacation and when I'd come back, the numbers never slid, because people weren't like, oh, I can make fewer calls because Mike's not here. Or if you're running a remote team, no one's really looking. That's not really the case. What happens is in these moments is that, especially by the time you go on vacation, they've set their goals probably and been executing for a few months. 1, they're in habit, and 2, they're seeing that the numbers, that the presentation numbers are actually correlating to job orders and first-time interviews, and they actually see that the first-time interviews are correlating into placements, and those placements obviously correlating to money in their bank accounts. So that's how this is a key to building a company that runs without you. It is coaching them to their targets. If I sat down with somebody, I'd have those little fun jabs with them at the end of a day or a week. But at the end of a couple of weeks, I might sit down with them one-on-one. I wouldn't do this type of thing in public with them, but I'd say, let's say after 2 weeks, somebody's executing to 80% of their target. So 80% of 300 grand, like I said, is 240. That's still, I'm not going to fire that person. It's still a level that's highly profitable. But I'm going to sit down. I'm going to go, Mr. and Ms. Recruiter, it's been a month or a couple of weeks. I'm a little disappointed. I thought you were serious about having all these things, and I had them all in writing. So I'd say, you told me you were going to take you and your partner, and you were going to go to the Bahamas. You're going to stay at the Atlantis. The Atlantis is like $400 a night. You're going to fly first class. You said you're going to eliminate $10,000 in credit card debt. You said you were going to put $5,000 in your savings. And I need to know, Mr. and Ms. New Recruiter, which of those, we've got to cross one of these off the list. Which one this was the word I would use. Which one of these goals are you abandoning? Something powerful and emotionally about the word abandon. Because right now at 80%, you're gonna lose $20,000, 15,000, let's say, after taxes. So we got to take $15,000 off of this and focus on the other stuff so you can get it. And that would turn people around, because people don't want to take things off the list. But now it's not a matter of in the old school way, right, where we coached people to placements, and then placements happen or they don't. They're in control every single day of their destiny. I think one of the biggest things we noticed when we started doing the Fast Start program about a year ago, where with our new clients, where we put them in this daily focus, daily accountability, they were like, a number of people said this. It was like, what the best thing about yesterday was I hit my activity targets and I was done for the day. I've never felt like I was done for the day before. And you want to give your recruiters that same gift. You want them to be done for the day.